What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode 2 of Unmuted, where we hit the unmute button on muted conversations. Today's episode is going to be a bit more lighthearted than last week, but it's something I've been thinking about quite a bit for a while now. And this thing has taken so many different forms on social media, and every now and again it's a trending topic, but I want to talk about romanticism. Stick with me. Romanticism and what it means to me, what it means to romanticize your life, what it means to be the main character, and why that isn't a bad thing, despite the connotation it carries on social media sometimes. So, light a candle, find a cozy blanket, whatever you gotta do, and let's get into it. I want to start with this idea I read in a New York Times article, actually. And it came from this guy named Dr. Eric Laux, I believe is how you say his name. But he's an associate professor at Brown. He teaches epidemiology, medicine, social science, all that good stuff. And he's actually the director of a thing that Brown has called the Mindfulness Center. So this particular article, this New York Times article, explored what it means to romanticize your life. And basically talks about main character syndrome. It was written during the pandemic, so keep in mind that there's that kind of lens in the article too. But the whole idea, right, the main idea, I should say, is that romanticism is a form of mindfulness. And this doctor goes into explaining how it can help decrease stress, symptoms of depression, improve sleep quality, and even physical activity levels, all these things. The reason that Dr. Laux gave for those positive benefits associated with romanticizing your life was that it allows us to explore the things that bring us joy. And not only that, but it makes us more aware of how things make us feel. Right? It makes us more self-aware. One thing that I've personally taken away from romanticizing my life, or from acting like the main character, is that I found pockets of peace in my everyday life. Right? Whether I'm lighting a candle while I'm working on my laptop, or I'm using a lavender scented soap in the shower, or sprinkling cinnamon on top of a smoothie, whatever it is, that just breaks up the monotony of daily life. And those things, big or small, helps me find the beauty in the little things, because 9 times out of 10, that is what my life, and I'm willing to bet what your life consists of. I don't know about you, but I don't have the funds to take a weekend trip to Italy, right? So my cinnamon spice candle is gonna have to do for a little while. And during the pandemic, go back to the panorama just for a little bit. I let myself kind of fall victim to my environment, right, in my set of circumstances. And I'm not saying it wasn't tough. For some people, it was an incredibly trying time. What I'm saying is that despite the tragedy, there was beauty in it as well. I got to spend more time with my family. I got a physical break from being so busy all the time. But associating that, more than that, I got a mental break too. I had time to reevaluate what I wanted my life to look like moving forward, how I wanted to spend my time. And amidst all that, right, with limited options in terms of where to go, who to be with, I had to learn how to see the beauty in the mundane, how to spice up my life when there wasn't a lot of external stimulus. And for me, it's a practice that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life. There's a thought that I had last week that I made a note to write down, and I want to share it with you all. I was thinking that sometimes chapters in the book that is our lives might be devastating, or painful, or boring, or traumatic, whatever the case is. But that doesn't mean The individual pages in those chapters can't have moments of joy, pockets of peace. And we shouldn't feel guilty for seeking them out. I want to share a poem that a dear friend of mine shared with me, and it's one of my favorites today. It's called Don't Hesitate, and it's written by Mary Oliver if you want to look it up or read it on your own. I'm going to share it with you, if that's okay. It goes like this. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed, or about to be. We are not wise, and not very often kind, and much can never be redeemed. But still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is its way of fighting back. That sometimes something happened better than all the riches or power in the world. It could be anything. But very likely you notice it in the instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb. I'll leave you with that. Like I said, it's one of my favorite poems to date. And as you go into this next week, I want to encourage you to seek out your pockets of peace. To remember that you are the protagonist, right? The main character in your own life. And it can look however you want it to look. With that being said, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next Thursday for another episode of Unmuted.